and hard-hit Beauregard.
It's hard to believe, actually, and I guess the fact that we went very early helped a lot of people.
Before he left for Mar-a-Lago, President Trump also signed Bibles for residents. Earlier, the president commented on his former campaign chair's prison sentence.
The president saying he feels badly about his former campaign head Paul Manafort going to prison. As for whether Mr. Trump will pardon Manafort,
I don't even discuss it. The only one discussing it is you.
And the president insists the judge vindicated him.
The judge said there was no collusion with Russia.
In fact, the judge did not say that, only that Manafort's crimes were not related to collusion. Andy Field, ABC News, Washington.
The S&P had its deepest weekly downturn since January with 8 losses in 9 days. Benchmark dropped 6 points today. The Dow lost 23. The Nasdaq gave up 13. You're listening to ABC News.
And now a message from Puffs Plus Lotion Tissues. Coughing and sneezing aren't the season's worst flaw. It's the ordinary tissues that can leave noses raw. With each little wipe, they can leave noses red. So do your sniffer a favor. Buy Puffs Plus Lotion instead. Puffs have lotion to soothe and are soft on your nose. You'll feel the difference with each of your blows. Especially during cold and flu season, a nose in need deserves Puffs indeed.
How can a fully stocked restroom improve your image? How can serviced fire extinguishers or a first aid cabinet make your employees more prepared? How can comfortable work apparel make your business more productive? For over 1 million customers, the answer is simple: Cintas. Cintas delivers everything you need to open your doors with confidence. Because helping keep businesses well-equipped, clean, and looking their best, that's our business.
Oh, I'm ready!
Get Cintas and get ready for the workday.
American Airlines tightens the rules on emotional support animals.
On American Airlines now, service animals will only be allowed to be a dog, cat, or in very limited cases, a miniature horse. And emotional support animals will be limited to only dogs and cats, and customers can only bring one on board. Emotional support animals will have to have a veterinary health form now with immunization details. Plus, animals under 4 months old won't be allowed to travel at all as emotional support or service animals because they usually don't have all of their vaccinations. The new rules take effect on April 1st. Alex Stone, ABC News.
A research center cuts ties with a scientist it calls sexist.
CERN, the Switzerland-based European Organization for Nuclear Research, has just opted not to renew its contract with Italian physicist Alessandro Strumia. Last year, he presented a paper at a conference on gender and physics where he claimed to show how male scientists, not female, suffered widespread discrimination in job promotion. Scientists around the world called Strumia's data analysis partial, flimsy, and biased. The first female director of CERN, Fabiola Gianotti, noted women make up only 20% of physicists. Megan Williams, ABC News, Rome.
A North Carolina judge says he will not allow the man convicted of murdering Michael Jordan's father to proceed with a case to prove his innocence. This is ABC News.
It's time to join the millions of people using Zoom video conferencing. Turn any size conference room, huddle room, or executive office into a Zoom room with flawless HD video, crystal clear audio, and instant wireless sharing. It'll even work with your existing hardware. Start your meetings with a single touch or use Zoom's new voice command feature. Hey Zoom, start meeting. Huddle happy. Visit zoom.us to set up your free Zoom room trial today. That's zoom.us. Zoom video conferencing.
Chuck Severson, ABC News.
From the KMET Weather Center for Beaumont and the Pass area, heading into the evening, there's a chance for showers. Overnight, humidity mostly high, low 39 with winds to 30 miles an hour. Have a mostly sunny Saturday with a high 52 with winds to 25 miles an hour. Sunday looks mostly cloudy. There's a chance for showers, our high 52. For Redlands, we'll have mostly cloudy skies tonight, low 41. For Palm Springs, we'll have clear skies tonight, low 46 with winds to 25 miles an hour. I'm Rod Tanner for Smart Talk 1490 KMET.
Hello, listeners. This is Christopher from The Christopher Show. Hey, if you missed one of our shows here at KMET, don't worry about it. You can go to our webpage, and that's KMET1490am.com. Go to the homepage, click on the SoundCloud tab, and hear any show anytime you want.
The following is a paid program. Views and claims expressed are those of the program producer and are not endorsed by this station. Opinions expressed are not necessarily those of radio station KMET, its management, employees, or affiliates.
Time now for the Educated Retirement Show with your host, Jay Kaplan. Jay discusses reverse mortgages and can answer your questions at 951-922-3532. Call lines are open at 951-922-3532. And now, here's Jay.
Yeah, we'll get you next time. Yeah. Good afternoon and welcome to the Educated Retirement here on KMET 1490 AM. This is our maiden voyage on this network. No, not the Titanic, but we are here to contemplate retirement and how to prepare for retirement. And me, no, I am not yet retired, so I need all the guests and help I can get. And that's what everyone is here for, is to help me figure this out. And while you're here, you can do it too. We're going to discuss tools to make retirement better, easier, and more productive. So write this number down, whether you need it now or need it sometime in the future. 866-955-2233. That's 866-955-2233. And remember, www.kmet1490am.com for all of the, well, we don't have too many old shows right now, but we do on the educatedretirement.com, which has a lot of information. And I'm adding things about blogs. I'm adding to the blog almost every day. Today I added a story about Blockbuster Video. There still is one, believe it or not. And that reminds me of Tower Records. Well, that's a whole nother story. Right. And we can talk about that again another time. But we will discuss today some movies like The Crawling Eye. No, not The Crawling Eye, although I love that one. Did you remember The Crawling Eye?
I don't remember that one.
Oh, man, some people ain't got no culture. But we're going to talk a little about The Crawling Eye, Singing in the Rain, and how those are connected to the 50-foot woman. And we're also going to release the record for the number of people who can stuff into a phone booth. My name is Jay Kaplan. Joining me normally, and he may later, is Martin Andelman, and we have a very, very special guest, Ray Ramirez, Senior Associate at Revolution Financial Management, who specializes in answering our questions on retirement finance and really anything else. We want to, let me just decide here that this program is about what I do and that my day job is reverse mortgages. But the last thing I want is for this show to seem anything at all like like an infomercial. I wake up in the middle of the night too often when my wife leaves the TV on, and there's this guy screaming at me about coins. No, we're not going to do anything like that.
Good.
So, as my friend Ron Siegel, who I believe is in the wings right now, and I appear on his show regularly, you need a household board of directors. That's what he says, and I'm in agreement. And we're not going to decide on who the CEO should be. I think you guys have a different program about that on the station. But you do need to elect an attorney, financial planner, tax expert, a realtor, and mortgage experts. Keep the numbers handy for referral. At the same time, of course, remember to keep your emergency numbers handy. And speaking of Ron, I think he's here. Are you here, Ron?
I am here.
Ron is here. And since this is his first time, and I don't know what kind of schedule Ron has right now, but hopefully he's going to be delivering our Market Watch today. But if you've got some extra time, go ahead and tell us a little about you and how people can get a hold of you and your show, too. I think our station's okay with that.
Okay. Well, I do a live radio show Monday through Friday, 9 to 10 a.m. Again, it's on home and finance, anything that affects the roof over your head or your bank account. We chat about it. We also have it live on Facebook, streaming live. No one wants to see my face, but it is there. And I can be reached at 800-306-1990 or 800-306-1990. Simple way to get me.
And you do have a wide-angle lens for that Facebook Live, right? So you can see both of us?
Very wide. Very wide.
Very wide. And what is it? I don't want to steal your line, but what is it that you and I have both survived?
Oh, anorexia. We've both beaten anorexia.
Anorexia, yes. We've survived anorexia. So we're in the Survivors Club.
Exactly.
But go ahead. I'll let you take over for a couple of minutes or whatever.
Yeah, so you asked me to give a little bit of a market update, and it's a great day to be talking about the market because there's a huge amount of confusion when it comes to the mortgage market, stock markets, financial markets right now. Just because there's a lot of clouds over what's happening with China, the U.S., and that whole area. But today especially, we got the jobs report. And we're going to hear a lot of news about what a horrible jobs report we got, 20,000 jobs created in the month of February, again, much lower than the 180,000 jobs expected. But we're also going to see that we had about 12,000 jobs added to revisions to January.
Yeah, I have trouble with that number, 20,000. I just don't know where that came from. It seemed like, I mean, even my unemployed relatives, if they'd found a job, it would be more than that, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and that's the big question right now. There was some weather issues that came about, and we got some people coming back into the job market from the layoffs, from the government layoffs. So I have a feeling I'm not a big fan of any single month numbers. I like to see what they're doing on 3 or 6 month numbers because it gives us a better indication for seasonality or just different issues that have come up. Because at the same time that the BLS tells us there was 20,000 jobs added, we also got the household survey today, and that says that there was 255,000 jobs added.
Yeah.
So you have two different, and ADP came out on Wednesday saying that there was 170,000 jobs added. So you have three different reports coming out, radically different. And as a consumer, what are we supposed to do? Because we're listening to all these different reports and all this different news. What are we supposed to do?
Well, right? So I know what I do. I kind of ignore them when they're weird like that. But you know,
but that's you as an educated individual, somebody who's got an experience in this.
Oh, could you say that again? Not too many people pay me those compliments.
Yeah, and
he starts laughing.
Tape.
Yeah,
they probably have this tape too. So I'm really in trouble now because I said that.
Mm-hmm. Yes, right? Yes, you are.
But at the same time, we did get the unemployment rate ticked down from 4% to 3.8%, so that was a good number. We've got the labor participation rate staying the same at 63.2. And another one that's going to confuse a lot of people, average hourly earnings rose from 3.2% to 3.4%, but who can live off of 1 hour's worth of work? So that's another one that we actually look at and we say, what are the weekly earnings numbers? So weekly earnings fell from 3.5 to 3.1%. So those are just the jobs report alone. And then you get the real stellar number that in all the market news that I watched or heard today, no one even mentioned the idea that housing starts rose 18.6% in January.
Wow. Repeat that, would you?
Housing starts rose 18.6% in January, and even more important to that for many of us, single-family housing starts rose 25%. That's
exactly what I was going to ask. How much of that is really single-family or condos, which I could still consider single-family, rather than rent.
25%. Yeah, 25% single-family.
Okay.
So a lot of good stuff happening, but the market just doesn't hear that. But the bottom line is if somebody's got here's from the flip side of what you do, Jay, on the reverse mortgages, if somebody bought a home with a HELOC or a home equity line of credit or second, based on what's going on in the marketplace today, it's a great time to be looking at that. To maybe you want to get out of that HELOC and tie it up into a longer term instrument. And,
absolutely.
We got
and you know what I say, and we're not, I don't want to keep you too long, is that a HELOC is the worst loan that a retiree can get a hold of because it sounds good when you get it. The rates and the payments are low, but there's a spot where it re-amortizes for a shorter period of time with a higher rate, and that may kill you. So,
absolutely.
Yes. Yeah, remember with a reverse, you make payments and you still have access to the payment you just made. But
That's why we love the reverse. Yeah, we love that reverse. It's a great tool for financial planning.
Very good. Hey, you know what? I'm really glad that you're here. And thank you so much. Have you a great weekend.
Thanks. You too. Appreciate it.
Unless you got anything else to say, but I don't want to keep you from your weekend either.
I appreciate it. Have a great weekend and great information you're sharing.
Sure. Thank you. Take care.
Bye.
Now, I normally have a whole lot of introductory stuff, but I'm going to pass on a lot of that because we don't always have a great guest. Now, I'm going to call all of our guests great when I'm in front of them, but this one really is, okay? So I'm just going to say that, there is a call-in number. There's a number for me also, which I'll give in a minute. But, I'm looking for questions. I'm looking for things that are going to affect us all. We want to know what it takes to enjoy the day and improve ourselves. We here believe in challenging the status quo. We want our families and ourselves to be active, not reactive, and we want to expand our network. So I will go ahead and tell you that I do have a day job. I better, you're saying, yeah. I work at the Loan Source, NMLS number 384465, and my DRE, which is Department of Real Estate, 792630. And again, let me go ahead and introduce you, not again, this is actually the first time, to Ray. And we don't have any set real questions, so if you have any, I know Ray's got a lot of things on his mind, and I just said go ahead and talk about anything that we think is important. So we've set aside the next 6 days of airtime to do that. So you can take a break tonight for dinner and sleeping. We'll be here in the morning. So go ahead, Ray. Introduce yourself first.
Jay, first of all, thank you for inviting me on your show. I appreciate that. And I met Jay through a networking group. And one of the things that attracted me to the networking group was their focus on education. And it's the same with my organization. Is we have a focus on education and preparing people, yes, eventually for retirement. But even before then, planning and advanced planning is absolutely necessary for all of us if we want to have a meaningful retirement, but also, just a meaningful life now, being prepared for any financial, catastrophes that can come up. And there's a few factors that I wanted to bring up, and they're a little scary. But this is the reality that we're dealing with right now.
That's why I moved the camera. Because you said scary. I knew people would think of me if they could still see me.
But a couple things, Jay, that we all need to understand. And the reality is, and I took these facts out of U.S. News, is 2/3 of Americans would struggle to scrounge up $1,000 in an emergency fund. And we know that things come up when we least expect it. Our brakes go out, we lose our job. There's so many different factors. The kids need clothes for school, and yet again, 2/3 of Americans would have problems coming up with $1,000, and that's a problem.
Yes,
that is a problem. Another one is, and we're talking different generations. We're talking the boomers, millennials, Generation X. But another surprising fact is only 24% of millennials demonstrate basic financial literacy, right? This is our future. And yet only 24% of them, just have basic financial literacy. And what we found is out of the 50 states, only 5 states require basic financial education for graduating high schoolers. Just 5.
High school?
Just 5. The other 45 states have mandatory sex education, but no financial education. And we're in California, one of the greatest states, one of the largest economies on the planet, 6th largest economy, and yet our school system does not feel it's important enough to teach our kids basic financial skills at the high school level.
They expect families to take care of that, but they don't, do they?
No, they don't, because it's like a cycle. Like if the family or the parents, have no financial education and they have nothing to pass on to their kids, and it just becomes a generational problem of what we found.
Yeah,
right?
They don't do such a hot job with sex education, do they?
Not
How about
even
families? Did your family get into that?
What's that?
Well, okay, I was going to say sex education, but finance education. Or did you pick it up on your own?
Not at all. I was raised by a retired grandmother and three brothers.
Good for her, though.
Yeah,
Wow.
and there wasn't a whole lot of financial education that was passed on.
No, but I
to
bet
us.
she knew some things. Otherwise, she had to take care of you three and herself, because she didn't take care of herself. She's like the caregiver.
She was, exactly.
So yeah,
she was very, very good at budgeting. I think that's the one thing, that she taught me is like,
I could never do that. Never.
You get those envelopes out and you start stuffing the envelopes, right?
Yeah, that was my upfall and downfall. I've made a lot of money and I've lost a lot of money.
Right. I think that's true of most people, though. Or a lot of us, at least. We've made money, we've lost money.
I'm sorry. Yeah. So I think we're coming to a break, are we? So let's go ahead and say hold on, and we'll be back in a few.
KMET 1490 AM with you everywhere you go by downloading our free smartphone apps found on the KMET website, KMET1490am.com. You can also go to the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store on your phone to download the free app. Now you can listen live or play any of your favorite programmers' podcasts using your smartphone. Don't miss out on the free KMET smartphone apps. Go to KMET1490am.com and download your free phone app today.
Hello, listeners. This is Christopher from The Christopher Show. Hey, if you missed one of our shows here at KMET, don't worry about it. You can go to our webpage, and that's KMET1490am.com. Go to the homepage, click on the SoundCloud tab, and hear any show anytime you want.
After the game, after school, after work, Applebee's is where you want to be to enjoy their bold, savory grilled steaks, salmon, or chicken. Applebee's is located where Beaumont meets Banning, just off 6th Street near Highland Springs Avenue. Applebee's started with the same philosophy they follow today. Focus on serving good food to good people in a neighborhood-style setting. Applebee's also offers Carside to Go when you order online. Applebee's in Beaumont, serving the Pass area. So fresh, so fast, make it Applebee's tonight.
And now, back to our program.
Good afternoon. It's Jay again with Ray. Jay, you can call me Jay or you can call me Ray. It would be nice to be interchangeable with Ray, because I'm sure he knows a great deal that I wish I knew. And I wish I knew what he knows now. I wish I knew it 40 years ago.
Absolutely.
But so be it. Now, let me tell you that a normal part of this program is going over birthdays and special days and this day in history. If I didn't do it, my wife would be very angry at me. She likes it. And also, let me tell you real quick, this is some of the best time she and I have together, actually. We talk about this, and then we get into, well, what happened with that, or do you remember this? And then we're both looking things up. And what should take 10 minutes usually takes us a great 2 hours, and we really enjoy it. But anyway, today is March 8th, which is National Peanut Cluster Day. Now, that may not be a big thing, but I found this real interesting. A peanut cluster back in the 15th century was a drink. And in 1847, Joseph Fry, a chocolate maker, created what we know today. Just to let you know, though, because we won't be on the air March 10th, is International Find a Payphone Booth Day. which reminds me, payphones are disappearing, and I try to take pictures of them, and most of them don't have phones in them. The booths the booths are still there, kind of like a soulless body. But it reminds me, and I put on the blog today at www.theeducatedradio.com a story about Blockbuster. But in any case, the FCC says there's still 100,000 that still exist in the U.S., and 20% of those are in New York. So I'm not sure what that means about New York. But the record was taken in 1959, Durban, South Africa, 25 people in one phone booth, or if they looked like me, one. So it was called the telephone cabinet, and it was created by Thomas Doolittle in 1878, Hartford, Connecticut. So, as long as we're talking about what today is coming up, remember daylight savings comes.
Oh, that's right.
In just a couple of days. I wish they wouldn't change the clock. It's daylight savings time. Everybody go to work an hour earlier. But they don't listen to me. How come they don't listen to me? Okay, today is Alan Hale Jr.'s birthday. You remember him? He's most well known probably for Gilligan's Island. He was the sidekick of Errol Flynn and Douglas Fairbanks, the old man in the old days. And Junior was in over 200 films and TV series, best known for the skipper on Gilligan's Island. Now, if you look him up on the internet, you'll be able to hear him do a commercial for a Chrysler Plymouth dealer. It's pretty funny. And he says, "Tell him the captain sent you." But the skipper did go to school with Mickey Rooney. He did serve at sea, and he owned a lobster restaurant. And it was called Alan Hale's Lobster Barrel. And he also booked cruises in real life. I mean, what better way to have your name on a fishing exposition or whatever. But he was in a movie called The Crawling Hand with Allison Hayes. Now, did you ever see The Crawling Hand?
I did not see The Crawling Hand, but I did see the other one.
A 50-foot woman?
I sure did.
He was in there. Yeah, I don't remember. In any case, yeah. I love that movie. And what is that other girl, whatever her name? I'll have to look it up. Always yelling the name. Allison Hayes became pretty sick, and she became the impetus for solving a medical problem that did not help her, but really helped a lot of other people. The Crawling Hand was about an astronaut who had a severed arm that returned to Earth that was possessed by an alien.
That sounds interesting.
My kind of movie. How many people out there believe in UFOs? Because they have a lot in common sometimes with other misunderstood items like finance and reverse mortgages. So the senior guy, he invented the hand fire extinguisher, sliding theater seats, which of course don't work if somebody like me is in them, and greaseless potato chips. But those must have died out, because who wants a potato chip with no grease or flavor? Sid Charisse was also born today in 1922, and she earned her wings in 2008. And of course, she danced with Gene Kelly, Fred Astaire, Singing in the Rain, Silk Stockings. And did you know Fred Astaire played the accordion?
I had no idea.
I've never seen him dance and play also. And she was in The Silencers. Remember The Silencers? That series of movies with, what's his name?
I'm lost again.
Well,
I'm so sorry, Jim.
My memory when I was born was a little slow, and it's kind of tapered off ever since. But Dean Martin. Dean Martin played this super sleuth guy, this spy guy. And Sid Charisse only started dancing as a way to build up her strength after polio. So it's pretty good. And I never knew that. Her sister couldn't pronounce the word sister, so Sid became her name. And almost done. Gabor Szabo was born in 1936, 1982. I'm kind of a jazz freak, so I do know him, but and the Monkees, because we've had some news in the Monkees. Yeah. Mickey Dolenz was born in 1945, which means he is still alive and he's older than I am. If I can find, I like it when people are older than I am. Really makes my day if I can find someone older and larger, but that's another story. So Michael Nesmith is the other one who is still with us. And unfortunately, Davy Jones passed away in 2012, and then Peter Tork was February 21st here just lately. So I'll hold on to that information, and let's go back and get started with Ray. And we'll have a break sometime in it, but then we'll make sure he has plenty of time in the final sections.
Exactly. So Jay, some of the facts that I've been rattling off, they're unfortunately true, but there is solutions to some of the financial obstacles that people face, and proper financial education is one of them. And what I found as I work with many of the 10,000 baby boomers that are retiring every single day, and some of the obstacles that we find is inefficient retirement savings, or they have their retirement savings in vehicles where they're subject to market losses and things of that nature. And so I think it's never too late, or you're never too old, to educate yourself. And if you have, the right vehicle that will help you in that endeavor, to make changes to make sure that all of us, live a meaningful and dignified retirement. And I think, that's something that every single person in this country deserves. And of course, starting as soon as possible is the key, right? I have 3 children, 33, 25, and age 7. And I'm always talking to them about starting early. Now, they don't always listen to me, right, but I am telling them. But, on the other hand, it's never too late. It is never too late to start. Even you, Jay.
I do have a large portfolio.
You do?
Yeah, it's just full of pictures.
But, we want to make sure that even, if we're starting at an older age, we're starting. Because here's what I always tell people. I said, I've sat with people in their 60s. And I say, look at how old are you going to live to be? And like 85. And I said, okay, well, if you at least start saving now, when you're 85, you'll have some money, because you're going to be 85 anyways. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But it's usually not a good idea to plan that you're going to die on a certain day.
No, it is not.
Did you see that on PBS? And I don't mean, tell me to stop when you get your way to
please
it. That
go.
guy that lived to 114 that passed away not too long ago?
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, no, really.
Wow.
This is true. He said he quit smoking at 90.
Wow.
Yeah. Anyway, go ahead.
No. So anyways, what we focus on, and the reason why I even got started in finance is because, again, I didn't come from a background where there was somebody in my life teaching me the ins and outs, the do's and don'ts of financial literacy. So there's a lot of guessing. There's a lot of trial and error. There's a lot of what's the guy or girl in the next cubicle doing, or what are they putting their 401k funds in, and we just kind of mark off the box they do, right? It's kind of like a monkey see, monkey do situation in our country. But again, it's not always the most logical thing. The blind leading the blind type situation is not going to get us to the promised land with our personal finances. And again, there's a lot of different resources. You can sit with somebody like myself, of course, and pick my brain, and we can help.
Let's break for just a second and ask you
to
give your information as how people now. Ray's information will be on my website for sure. And of course, you'll be able to hear this whenever you like on my website and on the station's website. But go ahead and how do people get a hold of you for more personal attention and questions?
Okay. One of the easiest ways is just give me a call, right? So I'm going to give my number. It is area code 714-343-0999. 714-343-9206. That's 714-343-9206. Or you can shoot me an email, and I'll just spell it out. It's my first name, Ray, R-A-Y. We're going to put a dot in between there. Ramirez, R-A-M-I-R-E-Z. Another dot, RFM, like Ralph, Frank, Mary, @gmail.com. So ray.ramirez.rfm@gmail.com. Those are the easiest ways to get a hold of me.
Okay. So,
but as I was mentioning, there's different ways that we can get educated, and there's the possibility of sitting with somebody like me, somebody that provides financial education, going to a financial education seminar. But there's a lot of books out there. There's a lot of information, if we're willing to seek it out, that will educate us personally, and it could make some significant changes in our lives. Tony Robbins has books out. There's just so many different resources that we can go to, and yet, it can be a little bit daunting, and I get that, but it's better to start than never do anything. It's better to start now than never do anything, and as Jay mentioned, I came into the financial world about 4 years ago, and I'd owned businesses in different sectors in the computer industry, the entertainment industry, but without the proper financial education, I always found myself at a disadvantage. And again, if I knew this 20 years ago, I'm sure myself, Jay, 40 years ago, we'd be in an entirely different financial situation. But it's never too late to start. And so, I encourage people to go out and get themselves educated. Anything that we want to accomplish in our lives, we have to put some research into, we have to put some time into, we have to put some dedication and commitment into. And I believe there's almost nothing more important than preparing our families, preparing ourselves financially speaking, right? The paycheck to paycheck living in this country is just so difficult, and it's become so miserable for so many people, but there is ways out, and there definitely is different solutions that they can choose from. And that's where my firm and my associates are here to do, is to go out and educate the American family. As a matter of fact, our motto is no family left behind, because unfortunately, your big money management companies, and I'm not going to mention any names, but we know we know they exist. They've been focused too often on the wealthy and the affluent, the 1% of our society. But there's 99%, of everybody else that needs the same education. They need to have exposure to the same, possibilities and the same companies and the same products and services, and yet there's nobody guiding them as to where they should go. And so what we're doing is we're here to make a difference in that regard.
Great. And you have access now. If people actually want to go ahead and do some investing, you're here for that too.
Yeah, we certainly can show people how to save and invest their money, sensibly. And I found, at least from my opinion, the older that I get, I really want to be able to protect my money from any type of losses. I think most people are on that same boat, because we just don't have the time for our money to grow once it's lost in the market.
Okay, we are going to take another short break. But before we go, I want to remind you that we are here on KMET 1490 AM. Put a www in front of that and a .com at the end, and you can get all of the old shows, of which this will be in 5 minutes, in another half hour. And all the shows, and I have been doing them before, are on the educatedretirementradio.com with lots more information. So please remember 866-955-2233, 866-955-2233, and we'll see you in another minute or two.
And guys, I'd like to put out there, if you guys, anybody want to call and talk to Jay or Ray, 951-922-3532.
After the game, after school, after work, Applebee's is where you want to be to enjoy their bold, savory grilled steaks, salmon, or chicken. Applebee's is located where Beaumont meets Banning, just off 6th Street near Highland Springs Avenue. Applebee's started with the same philosophy they follow today. Focus on serving good food to good people in a neighborhood-style setting. Applebee's also offers car side to go when you order online. Applebee's in Beaumont, serving the Pass area. So fresh, so fast, make it Applebee's tonight.
Every Thursday afternoon here on KMET, we have the privilege of meeting seemingly ordinary Americans who have endured extraordinary circumstances on our behalf. Hi, I'm Paul Leffler, host of Hometown Heroes, and every Thursday at 3, we hear from veterans who truly understand the price of freedom. Their stories of service and sacrifice are oh so relevant for us today. So join me this Thursday and every Thursday at 3 p.m. for Hometown Heroes, right here on KMET, AM 1490.
Take KMET 1490 AM with you everywhere you go by downloading our free smartphone apps found on the KMET website, KMET1490am.com. You can also go to the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store on your phone to download the free app. Now you can listen live or play any of your favorite programmers' podcasts using your smartphone. Don't miss out on the free KMET smartphone apps. Go to KMET1490am.com and download your free phone app today.
Get up to the minute forecast and temperatures for Beaumont, Banning, Redlands, Palm Springs, your community, national or international cities on KMET's website, KMET1490am.com. The station now features AccuWeather. AccuWeather offers weekend and extended forecasts along with the latest radar map and current conditions. AccuWeather on KMET1490am.com. Logged in every morning for your daily forecast.
Check us out online at KMET1490am.com.
Yeah, music. Good music. It gets me up out of the chair, moving around. It's a good thing you can't see it, or maybe you can. I don't. Anyway. Welcome back here at KMET 1490 AM. Remember, this is the Educated Retirement Radio.com. 866-955-2233. 866-955-2233. And it's just this program's flying by kind of like my life has. But we're going to get back to Ray here in just a minute. But just to keep my marriage together, I do need to make my report on what happened this day in history. And in 1934, Edwin Hubble, the astronomer, released a photo plate, I guess that's a picture, showing that areas that there are as many galaxies, of course I can't read, as there are stars in the Milky Way. And that was at that time a really big deal. And speaking of numbers like that, do we know that there are more people walking on Earth right now than have ever been born?
I believe it.
And that's one good reason why the reverse mortgage is so important. Anyway, because we live longer. Anyway, in 1978, that was the first ever radio episode of The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. It was broadcast on BBC Radio. You may say, so what? Well, here's what. I always thought it was a book first. It wasn't. It was a radio show first. And then the novels. Did you read those?
I did, and I was at the same train of thought as you. I thought it was a book first. Yeah.
You know, I was up getting coffee in Cayucos a couple of weeks ago. You know where that is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And, I can be a smart A sometimes when somebody is the guy, excuse me, barista, I was going to say guy giving me coffee, wanted to know if there's anything else he could help me with. Yeah. And without thinking about this at all, I said, yeah, what's the meaning of the universe? And he just flashed back, 42. And for those of you that know this, you know what 42 is all about. 1996, the movie Fargo was released. And Roger Ebert said it was the best movie he had ever seen. I don't know about that, but I do like the Coen brothers. You know the Coen brothers?
I sure do, and I've seen that movie many times.
Do you have a favorite Coen brother movie?
That I would have to agree with Roger Ebert.
Yeah, well, okay, so Ray and Ebert are on the same link. For me, one that's a little more obscure, Roger Fink, with John Turturro and John Goodman as a serial killer. I loved. And Hudsucker Proxy is what we always watch on New Year's Eve. It's a perfect New Year's Eve thing with Paul Newman, Tim Robbins, Jennifer Jason Leigh, and Bruce Campbell. Now, if you don't know who Bruce Campbell is, you need some educating, right?
I need some educating.
You remember Sam Raimi, the director?
Mm-hmm.
They did Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2.
Oh, there we go.
That was the beginning of Bruce Campbell, who's been in lots of things. But we could make a whole show about Bruce Campbell, but we won't. We're going to go back to Ray, and I'd like to, because I know Ray's got so much that he's going to share with us. He's going to be back, but let's spend a few minutes concentrating on old people like me or retiree. Well, I'm supposed to be retired, but I'm not. But, challenges of retirement and people facing retirement, not just problems, but just the situation.
Right. So Jay, some of the things that we find as a constant challenge when it comes to retirees, and it's the same as with people who are younger, but mortgage. Most people are going into retirement with a huge mortgage hanging over their head. The statistics show that out of 100 people who own a home at age 60, only 2 of them have that home paid off. So most people are going into retirement with a huge mortgage over their head. Insufficient funding for their retirement. People have socked away a little bit of money, but unfortunately, beforehand, most people don't understand what that end result should look like. And it's actually called your FIN number, your financial independence number. And most people have never really had that calculated for them. I believe less than 50% of boomers have actually ever sat with a financial advisor or a financial
probably
planner.
True.
Yeah, less than 50%. So that could be part of the reason why they don't even understand what their FIN number is. Not your PIN number, but your FIN number, FIN, right?
Not to be confused with FINRA.
Not to be confused with FINRA, exactly. Debt, that's another thing, credit card debt, unsecured debt. There's boomers that are still paying off student loans for their children, not even for themselves, but they're still paying off student loans for their children, having an inefficient emergency fund. The roof leaks. Do you have the funds to cover that? Medical costs. Of course, that's the number one reason why most people go bankrupt.
Well, let me just throw in, and I don't mean to take over your spot.
No,
here,
it's okay.
A lot of people I talk to, because I talk to people directly about the reverse mortgage, the HECM home equity conversion mortgage. I talk with them, and the biggest concern is their legacy. And I'll tell you right now that, and I think you'll agree, the largest threat to their legacy is not a reverse mortgage. It's not a mortgage. It's health care.
Absolutely.
And that's where the reverse mortgage, put it on the shelf. You don't have to take money from your house. You can just put it on the shelf, let the line of credit grow, or even buy an insurance product that has long-term care, or if you're old like me, maybe something with a long-term care rider. Now, I don't sell those. I don't do those. Disclaimer time, I don't make any money off of those, but I'm just saying there's a question to ask financial people.
Exactly. You're absolutely right about that. And as I mentioned, I don't want it to be all doom and gloom. Yes, there's statistics that we can go across till the dawn's early light, but there is solutions to all these problems. Jay just mentioned a couple of them. And being able to sit with a competent financial planner or a competent financial educator, this is the key to start finding out answers and solutions to all those issues that I brought up. It's, as I mentioned, I'm so glad that Jay's group is focused on education, as is mine. And we're going to continue to present this information to anybody that's interested, any group that's interested, and it's free of cost. Jay, did you know that?
Yeah.
I sit with people and I don't charge them a dime to sit with them.
Yeah, because not everybody does that. I know there's consultant fees and
no fees. We do seminars at community centers. I've talked to families in universities about saving properly for their college education for their kids, you know, and to you know, different organizations that specialize in care for Alzheimer's patients. And it's just getting that education out there that's made a huge difference.
Are there any specific areas or, you know, geographical? What's a big word for me? Areas.
It's a big word for me. No, you know, we're available in every state. You know, I am, you know, adept to doing Zoom appointments as well as face-to-face appointments. But we do have representatives in every single state. And again, you know, there's a lot of technology we can use nowadays. So people who are a little bit remote, we can reach you too. So
you mean remote areas?
Remote
not like
areas.
we with remote
no,
range.
remote areas. Remote
Okay.
areas. So no, there's really no obstacle. I think the only obstacle that we face is people saying, you know, I'm going to learn something new. I'm going to do something different.
Right.
That's the only obstacle.
Right. What we said earlier about the status quo.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're not trying to put the past behind us. We're just adding to it.
Exactly.
We're broadening our horizon.
Absolutely.
So, unless you're a flat earther, do you?
No, I'm not a flat earther. I haven't been up there, but
no, neither have I.
I do
but,
believe
you
it's
know,
around.
Yeah, me too.
Awesome.
I see this. You know, I see the horizon in here. So go ahead and again give your contact information.
I'd be happy to. So again, if you want to reach me directly, it's 714-343-9206. Right? I'm based in Newport Beach, and we also have a location in Sherman Oaks here in Southern California. But also, too, you can send me an email if you're more comfortable doing that. If you don't want to talk to me directly, it's Ray Ramirez RAYMIREZ.RFM@gmail.com.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And hopefully some people will be calling you, you'll be talking to them, and you'll be back here.
Even with questions.
Almost anytime you want to, really, because I want people that, you know, a lot of people study these things and know these things, but you don't always feel that they're actually there to help people, period. Because the more you help people, you know, the more you help yourself, too.
This is true.
I mean, you can't do one without the other. So I get around, too, and I don't mean I'm just round. I mean, I get almost everywhere. I was up in Santa Rosa not too long ago, talking to people face to face, San Francisco area.
Oh, that's awesome. Take me with you next time.
Yeah. Oh, that Russian River Valley is just amazing. How about the what is it? The that club up there. The oh well, can't think of it right now. You know what I mean? The one in the Russian River, the...
Ooh, I don't remember that one.
Oh, well, we can't belong anyway.
No.
But I'll talk about it next week. I'll be reminded because I'll listen to the show. But it's pretty secret. That's where they choose which people we can vote for. And that's where the Manhattan Project was originated.
Wow.
So, you know, it's just I was, as I say, you know, my memory is like a steel sieve. Everything comes right out. I started slow, and it's tapered off ever since then. But, you know, I get to Palm Springs at least a couple times a month. I watched it snow while sitting in Banning the other day. Well, this is like a week ago, wasn't it? So, yeah. So, you know, help me get out and around. Call me and have me come over. So I do want to make sure that we all know that this is the educated retirement. And the number here is, well, we have several numbers, but what I want you to remember, if you can, other than the number to get into talking to us next time, is 866-955-2233. That's 866-955-2233. And just to let you, just before we let you off the hook, I just want to make sure you know that preparedness can never be taken away with a reverse mortgage. Preparedness is what you want to talk to Ray about. And if you talk to Ray, it's completely separate than talking about a reverse mortgage. So if you feel you're not ready to talk about that yet, don't let that stop you, okay? Because it has absolutely nothing to do with that. So until I think we're getting about ready to go. So until we talk again, which will be 1 week from today, I hope you're not sitting on the freeway. You are? So, go ahead. You're breaking up there. So if you're sitting on the freeway, I do feel sorry for you. But remember, it's not going to last that long. So have yourself a great weekend. And next week, please let us know where you've been or what you did to enjoy yourself or yourself and the family over the weekend. Okay? Take care.
You've been listening to the Educated Retirement Show with Jay Kaplan. Tune in every Friday at 3 p.m. to learn more about your mortgage and reverse mortgages. And don't forget, each show is also podcasted on the KMET website, KMET1490am.com. Thanks for listening.
The preceding was a paid program. Views and claims expressed are those of the program producer and are not endorsed by this station. Opinions expressed are not necessarily those of radio station KMET, its management, employees, or affiliates.
The largest Porsche event in the Southwest, the annual Festival of Speed, takes place Saturday, March 30th at the Auto Club Speedway in Fontana, sponsored by Porsche Riverside, Porsche Race Cars, Porsche Show Cars, Speedway Track Tours, vendors, everything Porsche. See the cars, meet the drivers, and experience the excitement. The Festival of Speed is the Porsche enthusiast's dream. At the Auto Club Speedway in Fontana, Saturday, March 30th. Porsche, there is no substitute.
Minors must be accompanied by an adult.
You're out of letterhead. What do? Lithopass Printing. You need business cards? Now what? Lithopass Printing. Invitations to a wedding? Lithopass Printing in Banning and Yucaipa is the answer. Lithopass Printing can provide banners, signs, and blueprints. Think of Lithopass Printing in Banning and Yucaipa for quality graduation, birthday party, and baby shower invitation. Lithopass Printing also provides lamination, faxing, and photo prints. If you need it inked, make it Lithopass Printing in Banning and Yucaipa. Lithopass Printing.
The Century Group newspapers are published and delivered every Friday. The Yucaipa Calamasa News Mirror, the Banning Beaumont Record Gazette, the Highland Community News, and the Fontana Herald News are the dominant local news voices in their communities. And Sun Lakes Life serves the retirement community of Sun Lakes in Banning. Subscriptions for 1 year are $24.95, and for those 65 plus, the cost is $19.95. Go to centurygroup.com for details. That's centurygroup.com and subscribe today.
Hello, I'm Dr. Foujan, and I have great news for you. I'm offering a special time-limited offer to anyone who's interested in online therapy or coaching sessions. I've developed the awareness integration model, which allows in only 12 weeks to raise your self-esteem and confidence and let go of your thoughts and emotions that produce depression and anxiety for you. So call today to schedule your online session and save $600. Call me today at 818-648-2140. That's 818-648-2140. Or go to www.foujan.com.
This is 1490 AM KMET, Banning, Beaumont, Redlands, and Palm Springs. News, talk, sports.
From ABC News, I'm Chuck Sievertson. 16 felony counts. Actor Jussie Smollett has been formally indicted over his alleged attack.
A Cook County grand jury breaking the 16 counts of disorderly conduct into two sets. The first related to alleged false statements made to police immediately after the attack, when Jussie Smollett alleges two men yelled homophobic and racist slurs, doused him with a chemical, and put a noose around his neck. The second related to statements he made to police later in the day. These charges could net Smollett up to 4 months probation.
ABC's Ryan Burrow in Chicago. There's breaking news. A truck has crashed a gate at the Kitsap nuclear submarine